Welcome to the Veterans Cafe Podcast, Episode 1.
6 months in the making. Welcome to Episode 1. Why on earth are we here? Like, why are we doing this? What's the point?
Well, I had the idea when I was sitting in Bagram in Afghanistan. I was waiting to come home. And while I was sitting around there, I just started, for whatever reason, looking into microphones and audio equipment and all that kind of stuff, right? So I had to, I figured I had to put this together somehow and find a way to pitch it to my wife, Tracy, who is
the boss.
Right, the boss. So anyways, I actually spent the time researching everything we would need. I put together the website and everything. And then I was like, look at all this stuff. Podcast, right? And sent her like all the info for all the audio equipment. I showed her the website that I created and kind of pitched it like a salesperson because I've been doing sales for a couple of years now. But it worked. That's what matters, right?
Yeah, it was an unbelievable presentation.
Right. So,
how could I say no?
Yeah, and so we had actually planned after I pitched it, ultimately sold my client, and we were planning to start this thing.
We were going to start it the second you got home.
Right. So I had set this thing up like crazy. Like it was ready to I had created like a Twitter feed, all that stuff.
Yeah, I was going to go to like iTunes.
Yeah.
iTunes instantly.
Right. And a Facebook page, all that stuff. I had the feed set up with an amazing service called Libsyn. And I was already like tweeting, right? I was like, all right, we're going to have our first podcast on Twitter on November 15th. And I got home and found out my wife was living on the beach in Florida.
And I had an amazing tan.
Exactly. An amazing tan.
An amazing home. Come on.
Amazing home. We were a couple hundred feet from the...
No,
not even a couple hundred.
50 feet.
There you go. 50 feet from the beach. From the beach.
That was our backyard.
Yes. Our backyard was Tampa Bay. Not even Tampa Bay. It was the Gulf of Mexico, right? So
yeah,
that was our backyard. And then, of course, there, in a place like this, a touristy place like this, there is an abundance of alcohol and delicious food.
Which you couldn't have because you were deployed.
Exactly. So I definitely took advantage of that when I got home.
And, we had all the extra disposable income.
Which was disposed of. So we definitely... I've basically been on vacation for like 3 months. I have been working on spending money and gaining 30 pounds.
Well, 20, not 30.
Okay, 20, whatever. What's the difference? My clothes don't fit. That's all that matters.
So silly.
But the point is, so we do apologize. We had planned to start this thing. Like I said, November 15th, we were like, first episode coming out, and it didn't happen. And now here we are. It's
February.
Not quite. January 31st, and we're making our first episode. So we do. Well, I guess technically this one probably won't be released until February 1st.
So you know what that means? The wife is right.
You know what? We're not going to do this. Anyways, we do apologize for taking so long, but we appreciate anybody who has been following the feed. We appreciate you being patient and waiting for us to do so. And so we're proudly presenting now Episode 1. Which has no content. We're just basically telling you what this podcast is going to be about, right?
Yeah, and our missions and our goals and who we want to help. And, I think it's incredibly important to give back whenever you can. And we've been very lucky in our civilian lives and our military lives. And, you've been in the Army and you've been in like every component of the Army.
Why do you laugh when you say that?
Because it's just so awesome.
So, to give you a little introduction of myself, I was in the Army for 4 years active duty with the 101st. I then got out, and the Texas National Guard, I joined them. I did the whole try 1 year, which they, of course, lost me and sent me to Iraq. So, I ended up just re-enlisting and did 4 years with them. After a 3-year hiatus, I ended up missing it a little bit, and... came into the Army Reserve. So after 8 years in the infantry, I'm now in the Army Reserves as an engineer. So
why are you an engineer, by the way?
My wife was an engineer. you just had to do that, right? So anyways.
I think it's so awesome.
So once you hear her little story, you'll know. She was an engineer as well. And I actually came back in because I wanted to serve with her. There was a good chance that she could have been deployed, and as much as I like all you guys out there, I didn't really trust any of you to take care of her. So I figured I would just come back in and possibly deploy with her in an engineer unit. So so that's one of the reasons I definitely came back in. But I've enjoyed my time. I've had a lot of great experiences, met some amazing people in the military. So I definitely don't regret my time in. But that's a little bit about me. I can let my wife go ahead and tell you about her as well.
Yeah, I actually did a biography for fun just to play with all this equipment, because we had this, 6 months in the making kind of thing. But I joined the Army at 36, and I went through basic training at 36, and I didn't come from a military family, so I didn't realize that the military was something that I could do until, significantly later in life. And I've been very lucky, and, I was an interior electrician for most of the time I've been in the Army. In March 2015 will be 6 years. So when on a mission as an interior electrician, taking photographs, because I had an incredible sergeant who was very supportive of what I wanted to do, I met a couple of NCOs in the unit that I'm in now, which is a combat camera unit. So I'm a photographer and videographer, and I've been very lucky. And because I've been so lucky, and so many, soldiers have helped me along the way, including my husband, I definitely wanted to give back. And when my husband pitched this idea to me, I thought it was amazing, because, I think when you're inspired and motivated and you've been very lucky, the natural thing to do is give back. So that leads us to our mission, I think.
And so speaking on that, very quickly, for all you infantry guys out there, I just want you to know that my wife, being in a combat camera unit, she does way cooler shit than we did in infantry units.
GAF B training?
It kind of upsets me a little bit. I mean, she's done like helo casting and all kinds of craziness, and it's
amazing.
You know what? That's not the word I was going to use. But anyways, this first episode, we really wanted to let you guys know, more than anything, what this podcast is going to be about for us. Like my wife said, we really wanted to. We've had a lot of great experiences in the Army. We've been very fortunate. And things have been amazing for us. And to be honest, the whole reason we met was because I was in the Army. My wife lived in San Antonio. I had just gotten out, and I was living in Houston, right?
Mm-hmm. Good 4 hours away.
Right. And Texas, obviously. And so I was, once a year, we had this thing. I would come back and visit my friends, and we would go to Wurstfest, right? This German beer sausage festival that they have in New Braunfels, Texas. And so once a year, I would come back and visit with a bunch of friends there in San Antonio, and we would go out and have a great time. And that's how I ended up meeting my wife. That one fateful night where I was wearing
that
ridiculous German hat with a feather.
Which is right over there, and we still have in storage.
Yes, we do. And drunk and all that good stuff. And so that's how I met my wife. And in some weird, incredibly distant, disconnected way, it was because of the military. So we are grateful, and of course I use that as like a joke, but we've had a lot of great experiences with the military. So what we really wanted to do with this podcast was use it to reach out to any soldiers out there, any veterans,
family members, friends,
family members as well, anybody even remotely attached to the military in some way, and no matter what component you're in, whether it's the Army, the Navy, Marines, Air Force, anything,
even the Coast Guard.
Any of you guys, we want to help out in any way we can. I after I spent my 8 years in the military before I came back in, I actually used the GI Bill to get my college degree. So
and you're gonna get your master's,
right? So all those little tidbits of information,
And don't forget my famous semester in college.
Famous semester of all B's, right?
One semester of all B's. It was exhausting.
Still unpaid for, by the way. We use the money for alcohol. So. I just want you. Not
just alcohol, good quality beer.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Microbrew, craft.
Of course,
we're beer snobs. We only drink the good stuff.
Of course.
And in fact, right now I got an omission sitting right here in front of me.
And I have switched slightly. Organic wine right now, delicious.
She let us all down.
Because remember the whole podcast thing. Organic wine reminds me of the fact that I have never done a podcast, but you have. And why have you done, why did you want to do this? Because you were inspired by who?
Right. So, so she's talking about the organic thing. More specifically, she's talking about the paleo thing. The way I found podcasting, I was actually at the one time ever in my life I bought an iPhone because my wife convinced me to do it, and I figured I should give it a shot.
Because it was the old family plan. What was I thinking?
Right. So I bought an iPhone. So of course I had to use iTunes to do everything. Everything. By the way, I regret all of this. I regret it. So anyways, I was playing around in iTunes and I found the whole podcasting category. And I didn't even know what the hell a podcast was. So I started looking through them and I found Rob Wolf, who I knew. He's a huge, probably one of the leading proponents of the paleo lifestyle. So
he's so amazing. If you've never heard of Rob Wolf, amazing.
Definitely. If you're looking for a way to eat healthy and eat better and just live a better lifestyle, Rob Wolf is the guy to look at. That's Rob with 2 B's. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so I found his podcast, and that's how I really got into it and started listening to his podcast, which led me to find other podcasts. And, of course, I've also found veterans podcasts, which they were all amazing. Some of them are really awesome. Some of them are a little shaky. But still, they're fun to listen to. So I got all into the podcasting thing, which is what made me want to do this in the first place. So that's kind of what led into us creating our own podcast, just because we felt like we had a lot to give back because we were so fortunate. And
and of course, you've been deployed, before, and 4 times, right? And the most recent deployment that you just came back from, when you get the idea of podcasting, was the first time that we had done it as a couple, and of course we were married. But I think it's interesting to me because, I'm a soldier and I know somewhat what to expect, right? But when my husband deployed, he was gone, 9 months?
Yeah.
And, being a soldier, briefly being in, the same unit at the same time, I knew exactly what he was doing. Well, not exactly, but, I had an idea of what he was doing. And if he couldn't reach out to me through like a Skype or a phone call or a text or an email or what have you, as a soldier, I totally got it. I understood why he couldn't reach out to me. But, as a female, as his wife, I was like, oh my God, where is he? I haven't heard from you. And, I don't know. I just think this podcast is interesting because, I have a little bit of... I can wear 2 different hats, so to speak, the wife and the soldier, and I don't know. I want to help.
Yeah, but again, like she was saying, of course, she had a very unique perspective, and she was amazing the whole time I was deployed, and before and after as well. Of course, it was very demanding and a difficult situation for us, and so we understand that it's even more difficult for families who don't quite see it the way that we do from our unique perspective. So. Like she was saying earlier, even if you're a family member of a veteran or a soldier, and you have questions, or you need some kind of advice, we're not like psychologists or anything like that, we're not, we can't like counsel you through marriage or anything, but we definitely can help in different ways, so.
Yeah, we're going on 5 years of being married.
Yeah, I know it is what it is. And
How romantic.
But definitely, please do feel free to reach out and let us know if there's anything you need to know, any questions you have, even advice for us. Just let us know. You can reach us at the Max at vetscafe.com.
Why the Max?
So everybody calls us Mac, right? We are one of those. I can't even imagine how many individuals there are in the military who have a last name that starts with Mick and they end up being called Mac because
Why?
Nobody can pronounce their name. Why? Because our name is McKithern, which turns into McCurchin, McGillicuddy, right?
Anything but McKithern.
Right. So nobody can pronounce our name for some reason. So everybody, of course, we are the default Max. So you can reach us at themax at vetscafe.com. Or you can just visit vetscafe.com and you'll find an email link there where you can reach us as well. So one last thing we just wanted to throw out to you is ultimately what we hope to do with this podcast. If you guys are really into it and you're really enjoying the podcast, we would hope that we could eventually make this like a live thing, make this like a live broadcast.
Certainly, like interaction would be
absolutely
amazing.
That's what we want. We want we want to throw you the ball and have you throw it back. We want you to be able to call in. We want you to be able to chat with us. We want you to be able to even write an email, anything, so that we can actually have like an interactive conversation with you guys. So if it's something that you're really into and you continue to download our podcast or send us emails. Just let us know how you feel about it, because we are definitely into continuing to invest a little money and upgrade our production, quality and our audio quality, making this live if possible, and we would definitely love to do that for you guys. So please definitely do let us know what you think about it, okay?
And next episode, I would love to talk about a photographer that has been inspiring me. And I think when you're inspired and motivated, I think you want to give back. And I think this photographer is incredible, and I'd love to talk about him. And his name is Michael Stokes, and I'd love to talk about him on the next podcast.
Yeah, so one of the things we definitely want to focus on as well with this podcast is issues that are surrounding veterans in some way. And for us, this particular issue is, for us, it feels like a freedom of speech kind of issue, a censorship issue, right? So this photographer, Michael Stokes, has been taking pictures of veterans, mostly disabled veterans who came back from the war, mostly as amputees, from what it looks like right in the pictures. And these pictures, of course, these guys have become like models, right? So they're modeling underwear or whatever
It's so inspiring, because they're in so much physical shape, and
they're in amazing shape, and
they should be proud,
right? And exactly right, and they should be. And so he posted these pictures on Facebook, and of course, Facebook took them down,
which kills me because I love Facebook,
right? Because they'll post these god-awful videos and these other pictures from who the hell ever. I mean,
what's her name's butt? Kim Kardashian?
Yeah,
but whatever.
Stupid stuff like that. But they're taking down photos of veterans who lost an arm or a leg, and they're taking these incredible model, photos, and they have like some big deal with that. I mean, I don't understand it. So we definitely, the other thing we want to do with this show is definitely talk about issues that are going on with veterans, because and more than anything, what we'd like is your input as well. Whether you agree or disagree with us, we want this more than anything to be a voice for all veterans. So definitely write in and let us know what you think. Like I said, the max at vetscafe001. You can email us, and hopefully, if we actually ever take this thing live, you guys can actually call in and talk to us directly.
We would love that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, more organic wine, beer.
I'm definitely going to need one soon. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. But just to let you guys know, next time we want to get a little bit more in depth into this Michael Stokes thing, and of course any other issues that you guys email us about. So we appreciate you downloading
your biography, because I did mine for fun.
That's right. My wife did like a 72-minute biography.
13.
Okay, 13-minute biography. Which we'll link to in the show notes, and I'll do one myself. I was telling her earlier that I'll probably do it when she leaves next week. She has to go on a combat photography mission.
Combat camera.
That's right. And I'll probably do it next week when she's not here, just staring at me all awkward. So I'm just talking to myself, and she's just staring at me, looking at me like I'm crazy. So I'll probably go ahead and knock mine out next week if you want to know a little bit more about both of us. So we'll link that in the show notes, and you can take a look at that as well if you feel like it. But we appreciate you downloading the episode, and we're looking forward to talking to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.